Okay, we're going to be talking now about algorithms to live by. I was inspired by the book Algorithms to Live By, and we're going to be talking about it as it relates to realtors, entrepreneurs, anybody in sales, pretty much anyone, and what you can do to maximize the probability of success in a given situation. Also, what does it mean to save your resources? We could learn a lot from a computer. Computers save resources constantly. We want to talk specifically about game theory and specifically about how some people thought a certain circumstance would work out, but they played it wrong. Wrong algorithm, wrong outcome. That's what we're going to be talking about now. But first, I've got to let all the mob into this group, and let's take a look here. Okay, so here we go. Welcoming a group of people here, my yahoos. Gotta love it.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to see you. You're always in San Francisco.
It's good to be seen.
Okay, we're gonna give everybody just another minute or so to come on in. We got Dirk in Denver. That's great. Welcome, Dirk in Denver. Aton's popping in now. Tiffany's coming in now. Good. We got all these great people. So we're going to be getting into this. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So I'm looking forward to sharing this with all of you. I hope that all of you took time to download the uh, the workbook. Certainly, Aton will send it out again throughout the meeting if you don't have it, but I hope you do. We're going to be talking specifically about um, algorithms to live by. Exactly what that means and what that really means to you. I've been kind of nerding out. I mean, you can even see it in my mug, maybe. I don't know if you can see it from there. That's my computer code on my mug. And over the last 2 years, I've really nerded out on computer science. And it's got me thinking about the comparisons. Let me just get myself organized here. The comparisons between that and actual life. And there's a lot to be said. In fact, so much so, a book was written called Algorithms to Live By. I didn't write it. It was written by a couple of computer scientists, and I highly suggest you buy it. It's not meant for anyone in computing, it's meant for you. And it's really trying to get you to think about the patterns that go on in your life and how you might be able to tackle or at least make certain things easier. Let me start by telling you a quick little story. When I got started in real estate here in Boca Raton, I got a client early on that had a listing at one of the Valencias. The Valencia is a 55 plus community managed by GL Homes, and it's a very decent, good community. People really like it. It was a $450,000 listing, which is fine now. It was tremendous for me then. I mean, that was a big deal. I was very excited to have the deal. And I was also very eager to do a very good job. And what happened in the situation was I had a hard time trying to get this thing marketed. And I got a phone call from a broker who said, "Hey, Ed, I know it's 4:45 on a Friday, but I've got this hot buyer. They really, really want to see your listing." Okay, honey, we're not having dinner so soon. I got to run and show this listing. I mean, that's what you do. What we kind of signed up for. So I made it over to the listing, and the guy came in 5:15 as promised. You know, we're talking. The guy seemed moderately curious about the house. How long have you been on your search? He said, "Oh, 5 years." Let me say that slowly. 5 years. This guy was showing this guy around for 5 fucking years. Okay, just stop and think about that for a second. Um, this guy didn't give a damn about my Friday or a damn about what was going on. He was babysitting because it doesn't take that long to find a house, especially not a $450,000 house in a 55 plus community. It just doesn't. They're not that dramatically different between them. Sorry, not sorry. That's what it is. That's the market. And it really got me thinking about, what I did wrong in that scenario. Because when we, I'll make a statement here and see if you guys will agree with this. When you don't have a lot going on, anything you're going to amplify in your head is going to sell. In your mind, you're going to look at that, and Terry's nodding. Yeah, in your mind, that's going to be the greatest thing in the world. So, I share that story with you because this made me think of time. It made me think of time management. It made me adopt a lot of things in my life that I live by, such as the 80/20 rule, which you'll hear me talk about quite a bit. It will also uh, made me think about game theory. And game theory is something that did anyone see the film A Beautiful Mind? Dr. Nash? No? Okay, so Beautiful Mind. It was okay, yeah. So there, Kenny saw A Beautiful Mind. A Beautiful Mind was using game theory where they were actually uh, they went deep into the science with game theory, but let me give you just a little bit of a breakdown. When I was single, I met a group of women who refused to go to Fire Island for their summer share. They had to go to the Hamptons and they had to pay a lot more money. Now, why? They wanted to, as one of them said to me, and for the ladies here, don't get upset, they wanted to meet and marry a man of substance, and they're going to find him in the Hamptons, at the famous wealthy spot on Long Island. Here's the thing that they didn't account for, and goes down to the heart of algorithms to live by. They all went out together. They take the jitney, or maybe one of them had a car. Either took the bus or went. They got into this house. It was a timeshare. I think they paid $1,000 or $2,000 each, and there was maybe 20 of them. And they were staying there. They made their own ecosystem. They didn't really need to go out. When they did go out, they went out as a group, and they all were into the exact same guy. They played the game theory completely wrong. They played it wrong because they said when they looked at that on a surface level, they said, "Wow, there's going to be a lot of opportunity here." Okay, again, please don't shoot the messenger here. This is a very real scenario that I just want to give you. Incidentally, one of them met and married a great guy on the weekend that she wasn't in the Hamptons. You go every other weekend when you did these timeshares. Anybody know about timeshares aside from Aton? You go every other weekend. Yeah, okay. So you go every other weekend, you're trying to save a little bit of money, and that's how they're actually pooling it all together. What's the point of the story? The point is that we can make a correlation between that and your business. That you think that you need to go to a conference, which may or may not be true, or that you need to advertise, in a certain way, which again may or may not be true. But until you actually play the scenario all the way through, you may not get it right. And that's what this is really all about. How many New Yorkers are in here? One, two, three. Anyone else? There's three. Maybe there's a couple. Mark Lawrence is raising his hand. Great. Okay, so let me throw one last example out to you, and then we'll get going with this. ABC News did a little test about 10 years ago, and I was amazed at this whole test to test out the whole notion of game theory, and it's going to become very apparent when you hear this. They took 20 people and divided them up into 10 couples. And they took them outside of the borough of Manhattan. For those of you who are not New Yorkers, New York City is made up, it's not just Manhattan, it's made up of 5 different boroughs. They took them outside of the entire city. They went through outside of all 5 boroughs. They went to New Jersey, they went to Connecticut, they went wherever with these people. And they said, "You're going to be looking for someone who you don't know, and they're going to be looking for you. Use game theory, knowing that they know what you know, that you're both looking for each other to decide where you will look." I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and some people in the group are going to figure this out. Terry, if you knew that I was looking for you, and don't answer this question just yet, if you knew that I was looking for you and you were looking for me, and we knew that that was the task, where would it make sense for us to meet? Again, please don't answer it just now. That's the first question. Second question is so the first question is, what borough would we meet in? Second question is, what time in that borough should we meet? And the third question is, um, where specifically in the borough? So it could be a landmark, it could be anything, but be as specific as possible. So for my people who raised their hands, can everyone who's had an idea write this down in the chat? And I'm going to tell you without looking at my chat what some of you actually just said without even knowing what you're saying, without even talking to you about this. Terry, we didn't talk about this in advance, right?
No.
Okay. So just write this down, and I'm going to tell all of you what you were thinking, or what some of you might be thinking. Go ahead,
What
Terry.
are the three things again? The borough,
The borough, the time,
time. Okay.
and the specific place within the borough. Okay. So Hedeka put out there Manhattan. Yes, I think that is Manhattan. Okay. And she said around noon. I was going to say around lunchtime. She said 575 Madison, which is where Douglas Elliman is. I wouldn't say that. I'd say the clock at Grand Central Station or Times Square or Union Square. Now, when I do this in an audience with a whole load of New Yorkers, all these people are raising their hands and they're absolutely freaking out. Why? And Terry will get this, and so will Mark. There is a collective knowledge that we have by being in that space. We have a collective pattern that we're following. I don't know what the pattern is for Dirk in Denver. I don't know what that is, but there is a collective pattern that we follow. And if you could learn to identify these things, that's where you could go. Okay, Mark, go right ahead. Mark, are you trying to speak? Oh, your hand is up. Okay. So, and Kenny said Manhattan Empire State Building. So he saw Sleepless in Seattle, and around noon. So, but the point is that there are patterns that we're going to follow. When you use your computer and you are going to a website, you could do it right now. Open up a web browser and start typing www. Do you see how it fills in the gap for you? Maybe you go to CNN, or maybe you go to Fox News, or maybe you go to Google, or maybe you go to wherever you're going to go. It fills it out for you. That is caching. That is actually saving space and resources. It's the same thing that we need to be doing. Do you understand? It's the same thing that we're actually doing that on a day-to-day basis. A lot of the stuff that you think of as cloud computing and that's going out into the world of computing, it's not. What it's really doing is it's saving what would most likely be the most logical answer. So, showing all of this. Now I've got a series of questions for all of you. Anyone who's been dating, anyone who's taken a client who is looking for a home. We just went through that scenario where the guy was looking for 5 years. That's not a buyer. That's somebody who needs a babysitter. Let me ask you this. What is the optimal stopping point for when somebody should stop looking for anything when it comes to an actual search? You don't know what you want. You know you need an apartment. You need it in Metro West Boston with Jonathan, or you need it in Brooklyn, or you need it in Long Island, or wherever you might need. You need it with Kenny. You need to get something. What is the optimal stopping point if you have to get an apartment within 30 days? What would be the optimal time to stop? Anyone want to have a guess? Okay, 37%. 37%, the scientists come up with this. Again, it's outlined in the book. If you explore without committing for the first 37%, I'll give you an example because we get this all the time when we're showing property and in any aspect of business. Somebody walks in, they absolutely love the listing, but they have no context. They don't know what the next place is going to look like. So they could either jump on it and think, okay, I did a good thing. I got the unit that I really wanted. Or they can risk it and risk missing out on the opportunity. And boy, we know a lot of realtors who are great at selling regret, right? You don't want that. She's a girl you don't want to miss out on. Don't miss that regret. So, what's a person to do? You will be correct by percentage. There will still, I want to be clear, there will still be a failure point in what you're actually looking into. Uh, but the optimal starting point is called the 37% rule. I would encourage you to Google it. There's a little bit more in the booklet that we passed out about it. But you could apply this to absolutely anything that you do, whether it's hiring a team member, an assistant. You've gone through a certain number of people, and when you've actually saw, let's say 10, you decided what the number was, you're supposed to actually pick the best person at that moment if you're going to be able to actually decide at that point. But you could go on to 100, Ed. You could go on and keep searching forever. The optimal stopping point is something that you need to decide. Now, again, the scientists say it's 37%. I would encourage you to to look it up and see how it might apply to you and your life. Let me give you a better example. You drive to work every day. You know that or you're going to a movie or you're going somewhere. You know that you're going to get there at 8 a.m. or 8:15 a.m. before the office opens. And a lot of other people have done that as well. You know that you see loads and loads of spots as you drive up. Then you see some spots taken. Then you see some more, and then you see some more spots that are taken. And then you get to the point where there's hardly any spots left. In fact, you know that you've crossed this threshold each and every single day. There is an algorithm for when the optimal time to stop would be, and that is when you see the last spot. Most of the time, make a point of making a mental picture of where that spot is and stopping and parking just before it every day. But Ed, I could get a closer spot. Yeah, you could. And yeah, you would. But if you're looking at the long-term value, 100 days, statistically, you're going to be better off parking at that particular spot where you're just beginning to lose all the spots. You following me?
Mhm.
It makes
Mhm.
sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thinking. And now I want to open it up for discussion to be able to try and use some type of predictive thinking in the work that we do. You see, one of the things about being human or a computer for that matter is that we follow a very strict pattern. We follow a pattern. It's just the same thing. If you know a guy who was a prick when he was in college, he's probably a prick today. It's just, people really don't change that much, and things and patterns don't change that much. But if you learn to harness this, you can now identify the type of person that you're dealing with and the type of pattern that you really need to follow. First things first, you got to find a way to really cut all the bullshit work out of your life. But if you could learn to follow the patterns, I know this is a little bit more abstract than the type of topics that I've done in the past, but I think it's so, so important because if you learn to tackle at least part of this, you're going to save a mountain of time. You're going to save a mountain of heartache. Let me ask you this question. I throw this out to all the realtors here. I know I've got a lot of others that are not realtors too. Um, when is it appropriate to fire a client? Well, and Michael, you're in moving and storage. You're a tough guy as well. Like when is it appropriate? Okay, Kenny Bellini. Kenny,
Yeah,
we're having lunch on Friday, right?
yeah.
Okay, good.
When they don't do what you tell them.
When they tell you how to do your job,
When they tell you how to do your job. Okay. If that was the case,
hiring you to the expertise.
I get fired every day if that's the case. Everybody tells me how to do my job. Okay.
Mhm.
So, but it's a good point. Let's expand upon that a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay, so they're telling me how to do the job. What are some other times where you might look at the client where there's no real opportunity there that you need to kind of move on from this? Terry.
I've worked with a couple for 2 years to get into a specific part of, like the best part of Brooklyn. And the price point, because they have dragged their feet, the prices are now beyond what they can afford.
Yeah.
So, and we had a plan. We had a plan. We adjusted the plan. We tried to do the plan. They did not do the plan. And now they're upset because they can't afford it anymore. I'm like, well, so they're not fired because I still want to sell their place,
Sure.
but they are certainly on the back burner.
Okay. And Terry's just got the guts to admit it, okay? We've all been through this. Dina's not here right now. She's on at a job right now, but we had a situation here. We listed it. We knew it was too expensive. Everyone in the world knew it was expensive. Everyone other than the owner, who probably, if they were honest with themselves, knew that it was. And when I mean too expensive, we listed for 10 million. It's worth about six. Okay. Did we fuck up? Maybe. On the flip side of it, as people always say in sales, you can't lose a listing that you don't get. And I never lied to the guy. I was very, very upfront that, maybe due to the law of supply and demand, we could get much higher meaning 7 million. But what happened? The thing didn't work out. Now it's on with the next broker who they will fail in the point. It's made me think about this often because we make certain choices in life, again, whether it's real estate or finance or law or dating. How many dates do you need to go on before you find the mate that you're going to marry? What's the optimal number? Again, according to the scientists, it's that 37%. You're going to have to actually, but people don't know when they're going to actually stop. If you really want to go out and you found someone who is fitting most of the criteria, theoretically, you should stop after you've actually explored to that certain extent. Are you not going to get divorced? Of course not. There's going to be tons of it. In fact, the deck is still stacked against you. Marriage is the only thing that I see very smart people take risks on all the time and come up and fail. I mean, again, it's human nature that we want to have somebody in our lives. But that's something that I oftentimes think about. Let me just take a look. Questions so far?
How do you calculate the 37% in dating or something? You take a date 100 and just or line up 100 and just date 37? I mean, I
I
don't know.
I think
Yeah.
100 would be problematic because again, the first
Yeah.
one could have been the right one, right? Just like the
Yeah.
apartment. The first
So
one could have been the correct person, and now that you've moved on to Betty, she could be like screw you, Kenny. I don't want you. I mean, not that anybody would not want you, Kenny. You're so adorable.
yeah.
Come on. But
So go on,
but
go on 10 dates maybe. Oh.
yeah, but it really could be. Again, I'm not telling any. Some people are very happy being single, like that, and I'm married. I'm just this. I'm not telling you how to actually do it. What I am saying is, and if I could have you get one thing out of today's meeting, it's to really try and take a critical look at what you do on a day-to-day basis and find the patterns because there's always a pattern. And I think that that's really, uh, the name of the game when it comes to identifying opportunity. Computer scientists know it. Great book, Algorithms to Live By. I would absolutely get it. So, the other thing that you could do, there's something called Bayes' rule. It's predictive thinking. You count how many times a result has happened, add one, and divide by that number of opportunities. Now, let me just get rid of that. Okay. So, what are we actually saying here? When you're in sales, for example, how many phone calls does it take to get a meeting? Dirk, do you do any cold outreach? No. Okay. You don't have to hide from me here. There we go. Okay.
Sorry.
So,
Computer blur. No, I do not.
okay. Do you have any understanding of how many times you'll go on a listing appointment before you'll get the listing?
Looking at my numbers from the past, I'm around 90% of the time.
So you go in 99 times out of 10, you get the listing.
I do, correct.
Very, anybody agree with me? That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Dirk, I
yes.
want what you're having, Dirk.
Yeah.
But the cards are stacked in my favor because most of my business comes from my sphere. So I have pretty warm leads that I'm walking into.
Again, the pattern. It depends upon what you're selling into. The problem with what's going on today in either leads or anything else that's coming in now is everyone's judging it as if it's the same. It's not the same. Dirk has every motivation to jump out of bed and run over to this meeting. He knows there's a checkbook, there's a check there. It's almost shocking in your case, Dirk, when you don't get the business, it seems. It seems like, something happened.
It is, and my rate should go down if I push my sphere a little bit more and expand my network, right? So,
So explain that a little bit more.
oh, just meaning if I can create a larger sphere of influence, find more people, those leads might not be quite as warm. I might not have quite the relationship, so I'm pushing myself into new environments. I would imagine my success rate starts to drop a little bit at that point in time.
But by percentage, but your income could go up.
True, absolutely.
Okay. So that's the next question that I have for you. How hard do you want to work?
Mm.
Again, anything that you're doing, I'm a huge fan of having a great lifestyle. That's why I moved to Boca. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of being able to say that if you could sell 10 $1 million homes or one $10 million home. It's a lot easier, right? If you have the means of actually getting that big deal. You might not.
absolutely.
You might not. It might not be that, and some people oftentimes don't reflect on this. They don't see themselves as worthy enough to get the deal. That's a whole other topic at some point. But what I've said in past meetings, and I say this right now for anyone who's in business, real estate or otherwise, you have to see some type of parity between you and the people that you're doing business with. Why? The greatest realtors and the greatest salespeople, the greatest business people all see themselves Not to make an excuse not to give good customer service, but they see themselves as kind of on the same level as their client. Now, what do I see a lot of people come in here, they feel as though they're reaching their hand up to be pulled up by somebody, that they somehow have to, and there are indeed clients out there that are going to treat you like shit and make you, work your ass off and all this. But in my experience, the things that really work is that you're doing the great job because it's the correct thing to do, because you're actually busting your chops to be able to get them to see and understand and do the right thing, right job by them. But so many times the decisions get made based on who someone likes, even to the detriment of the sale. I see that all the time. I won't say the name because I know there's people here who know him, but he's the worst. He's a horrible agent. He shouldn't be in business. He shouldn't be doing what he's doing. People like the guy. I don't know why. I really don't. But people give business to this particular guy, and I just hear so many words of regret afterward. Now, because of ethics, I'm not allowed to say anything. And obviously, there is a self-fulfilling need there for me to be the one to be the agent, not the other person. So that's not how I play things. But I do get a laugh out of how funny it seems that people don't look at and take a more serious look at what's actually going on around them. How many times does a client go? How many meetings does someone have before they actually pick a realtor? Leaving Dirk aside for a second here, who gets everything. Dirk is like Pac-Man. But Dirk gets everything. But aside from Dirk, how many times, how many realtors will a seller call before they actually list their home? Anybody want to have a guess?
I think they claim three, but probably two,
I
if
think you're
that
right.
many. Yeah.
I think you're right. And 70%, again, this is statistics from the National Association of Realtors, 70% pick the first person that they actually have. This is a crappy way to do your most expensive asset, isn't that? I mean, if you think about it, it really is a very silly way to do it. But good news, they got you. They lucked out. Forget game theory. They got Terry. Terry's here to save the day. But that's why it's so important for you to get and understand the numbers in whatever it might be, whether it's parking, whether it's dating, whether it's selling real estate, whether it's finance, whether it's anything. There is a pattern that you should be able to follow, and I think that that's really the important point. As we speak, if you could think of other things and how this might apply to you, please speak up. Let's chat about it. And for the non-real estate people here, please, there's a bunch of you today. You could chime in with your opinion as well. I do like to have some thought here. I'm trying to give just a couple of other examples here. Give me one other thing. Yeah. Oh, and we've spoken about this one other times. One other time. Dirk, I'm going to pick on you again. If you could just unmute yourself. Dirk, the soda that comes in a can, that's a cola, not any other kind of soda. What can you name a cola brand?
Uh, RC Cola?
Okay, so you're one of the few that would say RC. Did I do this with you before?
No.
Okay, so RC Cola. Name another cola.
Would Pepsi still be considered a cola?
Of course it would. Name another cola.
Coca-Cola?
Okay, can you name a fourth? Effectively, there is no other cola.
No.
Effectively, there is no other cola. How could that be? Isn't that amazing? How could that be? It's one of, at least until recently, was one of the most popular drinks ever. And yet there was Coke, there was Pepsi, and there was RC. You're the first person in history that said RC first. I've never seen anyone say that. But so that is the point. When it comes to your deals, whether it be real estate or anything, you want to be Coke, then you want to be Pepsi, and then maybe you want to be RC. If you're not one of those three, you are really out on the limb. Here's the good news. You could become the Coke or Pepsi within a very, very small farm area of whatever you might be selling. So here I'm at a place called St. Andrew's Country Club. My goal is to be, well, right now I'm kind of Snapple. I'm trying to reinvent the can here and do things a little bit differently than what everyone is doing, and they could actually see the approach. And obviously results pay too. We need to know that the product's got to work. But if you're really going out there, the human capacity, and I want you to look this up, the human capacity for memorizing brands is so minor. It's so small. There are six figures, so over I think close to 200,000 words. No, it's more than that. Several 100,000 words in the English language. How many words do we use on a day-to-day basis? Anyone want to have a guess? Less than 1,000. Less than 1,000 words. That's incredible too. It's amazing that we understand each other if you think about it. Because in theory, I could go, if I want to be a prick about it, I could go look up all these words that nobody would use and use that in my language. It's almost like when you listen to Shakespeare and you know that it's English, but you don't understand what the hell they're saying. At least I didn't. I mean, I was never a great Shakespearean student in school. So, these are all things that food for thought. I just wanted to actually get it out there. Again, it's a little bit different than the past meetings. We're not really diving so far into AI today, although I do have a couple of announcements about that. Kenny, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say they say in your farm area or whatever, if you're not named, if you ask someone to name the top three agents in your area, you better be one of them,
Yeah.
right? Because
Well, you better, look, it doesn't mean that there's no opportunity. No, my immediate farm area is right now about 15% of my business. Means there's 85% that goes on everywhere else. People are always surprised when I say that. I'm not the dominant guy in my farm. I'm working towards it. It doesn't mean give up. I just want to be clear to all of you. It doesn't mean that there's no opportunity. What I'm saying to you is, unlike Coke or Pepsi that spend so much money getting the whole world to know who they are, you could become famous to 1,000 people. I'm famous within the walls of this community, within the gates of this community. Why? Because I put a lot of time into becoming famous here. I mean, there's no magic to it. I just have to bust my ass and do different things. And I've got an Instagram account unique to the members that are here. St. Andrews members. You can't join it. Neither can my dad. Okay, it's for the members and their adult children that live here. And the content, we take content from AI. This club sends out some announcements, and we'll take that, put it into an AI, get an 8-second script out of that, put that into Sora 2, which is OpenAI's new video AI, and we create great videos. I'm going to actually show you one in a second here, where you'll just see that you won't believe that it's not real, and it's worked out very, very well for the team because it's just one other brand that people get. They also get mailers from you. They also get your weekly email that goes out to all of them. All this stuff wears down and builds an opportunity that you might not have had, but you got to really stay focused and have an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. Let me give you just one other example here. I'll show you. Let me just see here. Okay, so this is St. Andrews members. And you can see, guys, I want you to rip this off and duplicate it. You can see this looks like Samantha. That looks like me. That looks like Dina. Guess what? It's not. They're clones. And here we go.
Drews, Samantha here with exciting news. The market's soft openings begin October 28th with reservations opening this Wednesday at 10 a.m. Remember, it's members only during training week. Breaking news.
Okay, so that was one from her. Here's this one.
Indeed, Halloween at St. Andrews is brewing. One frightfully fun night awaits. Details in the caption below.
Seems silly, and I suppose it is. But on the flip side, everyone and their dog is stopping me about this. I'm getting opportunity out of this, guys. And this is not costing me anything. Here.
Attention St. Andrews members, specialty classes are back. This month featuring Country Line Dance Fitness and Yoga Beat. Get ready to move, groove, and flow. Details are in the description.
Okay, was there anything about real estate in that? How about
This
this?
just in, the bridge at St. Andrews Country Club, which has been closed for close to a month, is back open. This is good news for the residents of St. Andrews.
Okay, so I've become the mouthpiece, and I wanted to show you a little something here. There's 306 followers, guys. 306 followers. Every single one of them is either a resident here or an adult child of a resident that lives here. It's pretty powerful stuff, right? It's pretty powerful stuff. That's
Yeah.
something that I've decided to lean in on. What are you leaning in on in whatever you're doing? I want you to think that through. Okay, we're going to do we have other questions here? Again, I know that this was a little bit more out there for you guys today, but I hope that you take it seriously, and I hope that you take a look at the workbook, which we work very hard on, and I hope that you consider reading the book Algorithms to Live By and stop and really think through what you do on a day-to-day basis. This is not about working your ass off and being carried out by your pallbearers. This is really about coming up with a strategy and a structure, whatever you do, to make the most of the time that you've actually got with the work that you're doing. And final thought, to selectively eliminate the jerks. It's so important. It's so important, especially when business isn't so great. I know what it is to say, oh my God, I really want that deal. I haven't done anything in a while. And in your mind, you're making something better than it really is. It's not. It's still just as bad. And it's a very difficult thing to resist. It's a very, very difficult thing to resist. So I throw that out to all of you. Any questions before we get to wants, needs, and brags? No? Maybe? Quiet group today. We got a baby on board here. Look at that. Renat. How old's your baby, Renat? Okay, shh, the baby's sleeping. I'm sorry. Okay, let the baby sleep.
It just turned 8 months.
Mazel tov. I love that. That's great. Okay, wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time in the meeting to talk about what you want, what you need, and what you'd like to brag about. My brag, I'm going to New York City in 3 hours for just a quick 24-hour stay, and then I'm off to California. And I'm just have lunch with Kenny on Friday at 12:30 in Santa Monica. So I'm looking forward to that. Who else?
My brag is that my wife's in Japan for 2 more weeks. She's been there for 2 months or 2 weeks. So I've got plenty of time to myself. And we've got clients there and in London that she's talking to.
Okay.
That we represent one. We represent one already, and we got a property manager that puts Japanese people into properties in California. So we already have one in the Marina Del Rey. So
we're going to now reroute our plans and go to exclusively to Vegas while the wife is gone, right? I'm just kidding.
yeah, with a couple of girls. No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Wants, needs, and brags. Terry, what's your want, need, or brag?
I'm going to see you next Monday through Wednesday in Vegas, actually.
It's hardly a brag, but I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you.
I don't see you enough, Edmund, and we always have a good time at these things.
Absolutely. And Wizard of Oz, right?
Right. Are you going Monday night? At the
Of course
Sphere?
I'm seeing the Wizard of Oz.
We're off to see the wizard.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
my brag is I'm having lunch with Edmund on Friday, and I've got to show him.
Guys, no, it's not about me. I want to hear about you guys too, okay? Okay, who
Edmund,
else?
I want your frequent flyer miles. That's what I want.
I want my frequent flyer miles too. I gotta tell you, I got a lot.
We're meeting at the same place, right? Or what?
We're meeting at Tartine in Santa Monica, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Who else? I think Tiffany just came on here. Maybe Tiffany, did you have a brag?
I do have a brag. It's about
Okay.
my older daughter. She got asked to play softball at Wellesley College, which is amazing. So she's applying for that. And I do have a need, Edmund.
Okay.
I
tell
need
me-
to meet with you about
tell-
our plan finally one day when you get back in town. I'm finally freed up. So
Absolutely. Okay. Do me a favor, just before at the end of the meeting, email me 2 date options for November. I know that sounds really lame but I really am
No, it's
traveling
fine.
for a whole week, so that would be
Perfect.
good, and we'll make it.
No worries. Okay, awesome.
Who else? We have Levette's hand, I thought, maybe, or it was a
Yes.
applause. Okay, Levette. Hi, Levette. Tell
Hi.
everyone where you are.
I'm Lavette Bell in Norfolk, Virginia, Southampton Roads. I have a need actually.
Okay.
I have a excuse me, a family friend who is selling a house. I believe it's in Ruther Glen or Glen Ruther, Virginia. And I just wanted to know if anyone serviced that area. I would love to be able to send you a referral.
Glen Rufta. I never even heard of this,
Yeah, me.
but
Ruther Glen or Glen Ruther. I gotta look at the text again. I can't remember.
do me a favor, Levette. You're on the WhatsApp group, right?
I think so, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I am. I Pam.
So blast it out to everyone, and then when you speak to them, obviously, if it's a referral, you'll make your own arrangements for a referral fee if it winds up being something,
Gotcha. Thank
and
you.
that'll be good. Thank you, Lavette. Always good to talk to Lavette. Okay, anyone else? Eitan, anything today? No, maybe, kind of, sort of. Hmm. Hassan? I mean, all my chatty people are not as chatty right now. It's kind of odd. Peggy? No? Okay, guys, look, it's good to see everyone today. We're going to have next week's topic out soon. I just need to firm that up with Aton, but I'm always so happy to see all of you. And Terry, are you still here? Is Terry in Brooklyn here? Terry? Terry's hiding. No? Okay. Well, look, guys, it's really great to see everyone. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today. We're going to get more information out to all of you. If you've got ideas or topics or things that you want to discuss, please do let me know. And I look forward to seeing all of you next week. If you want to stick around just for another second, I want to tell you about a couple of other AI tools that have actually come up. One of them is ChatGPT just launched its own web browser. Did anyone see that? So ChatGPT now has, let me see if, it's not on this computer, so I can't show it to you. Not on this computer. But you can, it's free to everyone to download if you are subscribed to ChatGPT. And why do you need a browser in the first place? You can do some really cool things with some of the browsers. Let me just show you one. There's a browser that I use called Comet. Let me pull Comet up here. This is Comet by Perplexity, and I show this to you because it's very similar to what ChatGPT is doing right now. You can use, let's go to Google Financial News, and we'll take a look. We'll take a look at financial news. Let's say we wanted to do a little bit of research onto this. There's a little button up here called Assistant. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger. I can't. Okay, well, you toggle the Assistant to actually get a side panel, and you could ask this thing to actually do research for you, and you could put it to work for you. So one of the things I could say is, can you look up financial news in CNBC.com and give me a summary of the top stories. Actually, that might not be the best example, but let me just see this because it's on there. And it actually, what it's doing, okay, no, it didn't do what I wanted to do. Let me give you one other example here. Here, let me go to element.com. This you guys are going to like. Okay. On this website, can you look up and get Terry Robeson contact information? And let's just see what it's supposed to do is actually take control of the screen here. Oh, there we go. So do you see the little blue around the edge here? Can somebody just say yes if they hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you see it's actually doing the search while you are working on the browser. This is the future of AI. This is agentic AI, where it's actually looking up and it's doing a logical search. You can see it doing this in real time. The implications for this is just remarkable because if you're a student, you could study with this and you could actually have it explain what's going on the screen. If you live within a community, there we go. Now it's actually finding Terry's information and you're seeing it do this in real time. We could now take this information and I could say, one other thing in here, based on what you find out about Terry, can you please write an email to him about joining my mastermind? You can find out about my mastermind at www.reignation.com. Okay, so now it's going to get context from Terry. It's supposed to get context from my mastermind. And then based on both of those things, it's going to create a personalized email invite to Terry to join my AI-focused real estate mastermind. And it's taking a couple minutes, which is fine because again, you could open up as many browsers as you want, put it to work, talk with everybody like this, and when it's done, actually go back to it. It is a little slow, but once again, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, hi Terry. I hope this email finds you well. As a fellow Douglas Elliman professional and admirer of your long track record in New York real estate, I want to personally reach out. Your experience navigating the diverse neighborhoods of New York City, your leadership as a co-op board president, and your reputation for building client relationships are exactly the qualities that embody the spirit of our new mastermind group, Edmund's Mastermind, formerly REIGNation, blah, 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 blah. So it gives a whole email here. Anybody find that somewhat cool?
Yeah, yes.
Does it deserve at least an
Totally.
honorable mention? So I just gave you one very simple thing that you could do with it. Let me just show you one other thing that you could do with it. Let's say you go to YouTube and now we're going to look up here. This is
OpenAI just dropped.
okay, so we don't need to listen to what this guy has to say because what I could say is please summarize this video. What's going on here? Okay. Please summarize this video. So now it's actually doing this and it's coming up with a pretty complete summary of the video without you having to have watched it. You could also then say something like, based on this, how can this fit into my mastermind? Now keep in mind that it's in the same chat, so it should have the context of what my mastermind is. Can you suggest how I can frame a topic? Okay, represents groundbreaking shift in how AI can supercharge productivity, research, and automation, blah, 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 blah. AI native browsing for real estate success, how ChatGPT Atlas will transform your workflow. Okay, well, we can't just get hype here. I got to give you guys real content. But it goes through all of this and it becomes truly your second brain. So I want to throw that out to you. And then I haven't talked about it with Eitan, but I probably will. I want to do something with Claude. Eitan and I have a love-hate relationship with Claude. Claude is another AI similar to ChatGPT. And one of the things that Claude has is Claude, let me show you here. No. Okay, it's skills. So with the skills, you're able to actually upload a complete description. Like, for example, I've got my luxury brand guidelines, the fonts that we use, the colors that we use, all sorts of stuff that's actually in. And you can see that it's toggled on. So what I could do with Claude now is I could say, I just listed 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street for $10 million. Can you write an Instagram post about this using my brand skill? Okay, so now what it's supposed to do, and again, we oftentimes know that it takes a couple of times, but it's actually looking up the brand skill to understand. It says that reading Edmund Bogen's brand skill to understand voice, tone, and visual guidelines. I put that brand skill in there, and it's reading the complete skill, and it walks you through each and every single one of these things. Okay. Just make an Instagram post with what you have already and show it to us. Okay. So now, it's obviously trying to push me to get the better information for the purpose of this meeting. I'm not going to put, it's a fictitious place. So, um, okay. So now it's actually laying out the colors that we use, the various stuff. Please do it graphically in your code. Use. It's not picking up what I'm actually saying here. Okay, so now it's going nuts and doing the design itself. It sometimes takes a couple of seconds to actually get it to work for you. But with these guidelines, and again, I'm doing this in real time here. I don't know if it's going to be perfect. I hope it is. I tried to make it as simple as possible. But this is just one example. Now, let's say you are in finance, or let's say you're a CPA and you have a certain way that you're doing tax returns. Again, I won't speak for privacy because there are definitely privacy issues with all of this, but you could keep your guidelines in here. Okay, view your Instagram post. Here we go. Let me just publish this artifact. And once again, you saw that I didn't put a heck of a lot of time into this, so not bad though, right? I mean,
Edmund, can you do the same sort of thing with guidelines in a custom GPT for chat?
yes. For ChatGPT or for
Chat GPT, yeah.
no, the short answer is yes. You could program anything any way you want. I'm just saying that Claude has done this in a way. Now, if I wanted to do something else, I could have imported pictures and I could have done so much more. But in 2 seconds, I just put together a graphic for you guys that was pretty simple to do and was, there was not that much thought. I throw this all out to you because I cannot just give you, this is hours and hours, 40 hours a week we could spend on all this stuff. I expect you to go back and tinker with this. If you have Claude, as Aton does, it's $20 a month for Claude. The more you spend with these things, the more access that you get. But I think that that's a great tool. I think ChatGPT certainly has that at any level. I believe you do have access to their browser. There's just so many other changes that happened this week. I do not have the time to go through all of them, unfortunately. Aton and I are drowning in all these innovations that come up. And we are trying to pick the best. I will say this, get schooled on all of this because the change is happening so fast. If you're a part of it, I think you could do rather well. So that's my my thought for the day. Any other questions before I head out to my flight?
I actually have go ahead, Siri.
No, go ahead.
No, Levette, you are so much better looking than I am. Please. At least your picture. At least your picture.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. I noticed that my water print is on this Zoom. And I'm just curious to know, is that to keep people from recording and taking your content?
I do not know. We've had this. Aton, any idea why this is happening?
Yes. And not just on this one, every Zoom I attend.
Yeah,
Actually, it is. And I did some settings to Zoom and this came up. And that's what the result. I don't know how effective it is, but
it's a great idea.
We're probably gonna remove it soon.
Oh, hold on. You added this?
I did, yes.
Yeah, what note?
My name is on every
it's a great idea because
what the fuck? No, it's not. It looks like goddamn.
Well, so if anybody records this and publishes it, you know who it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
it's a great idea, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, all of these, like I could see my email on each of the screens too. Does that go out to all the other people?
No, every one of us has their own email on it.
Okay, got it. Okay. So when you guys send it out.
Hold on, Terry, do you see your own email on it?
I do.
John? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so if for instance, if I was to record your content, sell it on the black market, Ed, then you would know it's me. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
The purpose.
Okay.
So you could sue somebody, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I'd also be sort of honored, I guess. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't, if
Maybe
people
Edmund's email should be on all of those, Ethan, or yours.
I don't know.
Lavette, is that a good side gig? I mean, you making money off of that?
Yeah, I'm killing it.
Okay. What else? Anyone? Mark? Peggy? Anyone? Go ahead.
Edmund, are you going to be doing this next Wednesday from Vegas?
I will be doing this next Wednesday from Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, I'm getting up extra early to be here. And again, I need to work through the exact.
Can you do it for like the gaming room? Like when we hear bling, 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 bling.
Yeah, talk about a great way to get my attention, right? That's
Play the 37% rule. No.
yeah, do
Right,
something like
right.
that. Oh God, you guys are crazy.
Can
Okay,
we
listen,
do a gambling theme next week then?
can we do a gambling theme? We could do whatever you guys. I rely on everybody for topics. I really do, and I really wish you'd come to me with topics that you think would work. Send me emails. Let me know. We thoroughly school ourselves in this. We'll need a couple weeks to do it. Even if it's something completely new to us, I have an AI bent because I just know where this business is going and where all business is really heading. But if you have certain topics you'd like us to address, I would love to do it. It would be our pleasure to go out and try it. So anyway, Terry, we didn't do it before. You want to sing us out?
I do.
When I look at all of you, I say to myself, God, it really was great to be here. I'm so glad that you came, and I look forward to seeing all of you next Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another exciting episode of
REIGNation.
Mazel Tov. We love this guy.
From Las
Oh,
Vegas.
and we even got from Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, guys,
Thanks, Edmund. Safe
good to see
travels.
everybody. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
Take care. Bye.